It's a great day to be a johtojonny fan, am I right? Nintendo finally gave us a trailer for Switch 2. With that trailer, we now have confirmation that all the leaks covered here on this channel were, in fact, 100% real. And that's a good thing, because the leaks have all been awesome news so far. Those same sources that confirmed what we saw in this trailer have also given us great insight into the Switch 2's power and hardware. It really is looking spectacular. I will say, deciphering credible leaks from fake ones has always been really important to me. It's part of why I generally never covered leaks until recently, because typically they're all a load of bullshit. But these recent ones were definitely built different, so I'm glad I've been able to do this hype cycle justice by keeping our leak discussions trustworthy. On that note, don't forget, there's still work to be done. After all, Nintendo's reveal trailer only gave us a look at the hardware's exterior, with only one mention of something new that the system is able to do. But like I said earlier, we know much more about the system than the trailer told us because of overlapping info from all the same credible sources. I'll link you to my videos on those leaks to refresh everyone's memory on just how powerful the Switch 2 will be, but for now, I think we should take the time to discuss what we saw in today's trailer for the official Nintendo Switch 2. First, let's talk about the design of the new system, as that's the main thing on Showcase today. Just like we knew beforehand, the Switch 2 is larger than even the Switch 1 OLED model. We see this visually in the trailer, and from leaks, we know this is an 8-inch screen compared to the OLED's 7-incher. The one thing we still don't know after seeing this trailer or from leaks though, is if the screen on the Switch 2 will be OLED as well. If you ask me, it really should be. Everything about the Switch 2 should be better than the predecessor's premium model. And if you don't believe me, just look to Nintendo's handhelds of days past. From Game Boy to Game Boy Color, to Advance, to SP, to DS, to DSi, to 3DS, to 3DS XL, to Switch, Nintendo has never seemed to move backwards with its screen specs, so I think we should be in the clear here. Then we have the general shape and finish of the system. I loved the visual of shaving off some of the Switch 1 to reveal a slightly new shape for the Switch 2. The added curves are definitely more visually appealing and will likely make the system feel more ergonomic to hold. I'm really glad to see that there's still a wired headphone jack as well, since having the audio matchup in real time with gaming is super important. And Bluetooth isn't quite there yet, as the wireless functionality always results in a noticeable delay. I also absolutely love there being a charging port at the top of the Switch 2, so you can charge it while playing it undocked on its stand, something you couldn't do with the first Switch. Speaking of which, the new stand also looks just as good, if not better than the stand on the OLED, which is nice. It's definitely more visually appealing. Even when it's not in use, I like how it gives the back for the Switch 2 much more presence than the Switch 1's back. One thing I don't like from the new system though, is the return of wide margins between the screen and the edges of the system. That's certainly a regression in presentation, but I suppose this is Nintendo's way of reserving a premium Switch 2 model down the line that will have yet another improved screen and design, similar to what the OLED model offered to the Switch 1. My guess is the Switch 2's premium model will not only reduce the margins by giving us an even bigger screen, but also will add anti-glare. Now, if they do a model like this, it would release in like 3 or more years after the base Switch 2, and I'm sure there will be changes that are different from what I just mentioned, but that's what my guess is for what we'll see in the future. Anyways, just like we knew from leaked images, the Joycons are a bit larger, which will be a lifesaver for adults and our hands. Having larger SL and SR buttons is a hand saver as well. I also much prefer this new snap design on how Joy-Cons attach to the Switch 2. A huge issue I've faced with Switch 1 is that when playing in handheld, over time the sliders would wear and your Joy-Cons would ever so slightly slide out of your Switch, causing disruptions to your gaming as you'd be met with a "please choose a controller" screen. This especially sucked when playing online games in handheld like Pokemon Unite, sometimes at pivotal moments in a match, and you lose the match for you and your team because you have to take at least 10 to 30 seconds reattaching them and getting the system to re-recognize your handheld control option. With this new way of snapping in from the sides, Nintendo seems to all but solved this issue. It's still unclear if this new way of inserting Joy-Cons uses magnetism or not though, by the way. So far, everything stating that they use magnetism is pure conjecture from people, so keep that in mind in case you've been wondering about that. I love the multicolor scheme of the new Joy-Cons. Switch 1 Joy-Cons would always pair with black, but it seems if we're to get Joy-Cons in different colors for Switch 2, then there will be accent colors on the side of the Joy-Con and underneath the joysticks of the Joy-Con, as we see here with the color splashes in those exact spots. But these Joy-Cons that we see in the video are black, so I'm just saying replace that black with a different color. I bet those accent colors would also still remain though, instead of those being black. I also think this scene of the Joy-Cons sliding across a table points to people being right in their conjecture about the new sensors on the sides of the Joy-Con being optical sensors, similar to a computer mouse. I wonder how this would be used in games? It remains to be seen, but maybe we'll get like a Mario Paint for the Nintendo Switch 2 or something. What a revival that would be. But also what remains to be seen is a symbol for the new button on the right Joy-Con. Apparently, dummy builds had a C symbol here. But in this trailer, no symbol is showcased, even though the new button is on full display underneath the home button. It must be a pretty important feature for Nintendo not to let us even see the symbol here yet. But what could it be? No one really knows. On another note, I appreciate the subtle difference in shape for the Switch 2's dock. It's not wildly different, but it's different enough to leave an impression of new and modern. I'm actually very curious though, with a charging port being shown at the top of the Switch 2, does this mean there are simply 2 charging ports now on a Switch? When docking the Switch, it's gotta get power somehow, unless it utilizes some sort of wireless charging on the bottom end. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how it all works. Nintendo also confirmed to us something else we knew from leaks, and that is how the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with Switch 1 games. What they didn't tell us in this trailer, and will likely tell us in their dedicated Direct in April, is that it will also upscale them to improve their graphics and performance. The Nintendo Direct in question is currently scheduled for April 2nd, 2025. What an appropriate date for a system labeled with the 2 at the end. But yeah, they plan on giving us an entire lowdown on the system that day. And yes, that really was a new Mario Kart game shown off in the trailer, so they're really out here just teasing us. So let's get excited. The logo for Switch 2 is exactly what got leaked to us as well, and just like I said back then, I'll say again, I'm not mad about it. It's simple, it's to the point, it's elegant, it's exactly what we want. A more powerful Nintendo Switch, simply and effectively named Switch 2. But what are your thoughts on the reveal trailer? Are there any details that stood out to you? Let me know down in the comments, and who knows, you might see yours featured here in a future video if you point out something super cool. Afterwards, check out more of my videos, like this one here on the right, where I discuss the Switch 2's leaked motherboard, so you can know just how powerful the Switch 2 is compared to Switch 1 and even PS5. The sources used in that video are the same ones that leaked everything confirmed today, so I highly recommend you check it out. I've been johtojonny, and I'll catch you all there.